The agenda this week assessed the need for a new highway in the GTA, and up first, heard why it pays to be careful shopping online this holiday season. Georgina, if we look at this stuff and we assume it's been checked by authorities and we assume it's safe, but maybe it isn't, how are we supposed to know? How does an ordinary consumer determine whether or not something's real or fake?
Well, it's a challenge, no question. But if you're an informed consumer, you'll have some understanding of what it is you're buying. So if it's a pretty expensive product or something that you've worked hard to buy and pay for, a luxury good or something of some significance, you might go to the website that is the authorized website for that product and do a bit of a compare. How much is it? In store or on the store's, website.
If it's too good to be true, it probably is.
If it's too good to be, so look at the price.
No.
Who are you buying it from? Do you know who you're buying it from? If it's a third-party seller, like who is that person? Make some inquiry. Stock images are used a lot, so the images on the website can look legitimate and perfect, but when the product comes in, look at the packaging, compare it to the real product. Be an informed consumer, and also be mindful of the method of payment that you're using to purchase online. You want to protect your credit card information. You want to protect your personal information against theft or fraud by nefarious users. So, if you're going to a website and you can't pay through PayPal and you can't pay through your credit card, and they're directing you to another site to pay through a different method that maybe not as secure, that should be a red flag. They're all sort of red flags, and just be an informed purchaser.
You have professional knowledge on this, but I presume at some point along the way you've been a consumer as well.
I am, much to my husband's chagrin, I'm a big consumer.
Do you think you've ever been taken?
Not recently, but I don't shop like most people. It's sort of the fun little bit's been sucked out of it for me, but absolutely, and so too my friends. And I was just speaking to somebody who's in the hair business, telling me about a hair blow dryer that was bought online, and it's of the professional quality, and it failed, and he brought the repair person in, and it was only when they opened it up that they realized it was a counterfeit. And so, that could cause a fire. That's somebody's professional reputation. I mean, you just have to be an informed consumer.
Barry, is there anything that can be done if somebody is scammed out of their money or receives a counterfeit product, or is it too late at that point?
Well, I hate to do a commercial for the credit card companies, but the safest method of purchasing anything, anywhere, anytime is with your credit card. You have huge protection on your credit card for not only counterfeit, but non-delivery of goods as described. And it's better than PayPal, it's better than any other protection method out there. So if you do order online and you think you're getting the real thing and you don't, if you pay by credit cards, you can get all your money back. All you have to do is call a phone number on the back of your credit card, and customer service at your bank will take care of you.
How many, I hate to use the word victims, but I'm not sure what the better word to use
is. They are victims.
Victims? Okay. How many victims, Barry, do you estimate that you have helped through your professional connection to this issue?
Well, since Visa came out with its new chargeback policy in October 2012, and the fact that we partnered up with the Canadian banks in January 2013, we've helped about 50,000 victims recover about $15 million. We average about 7,000 victims a year. Last year was a busy year for us. We had about 12,000 victims.
What if this were a highway where only autonomous vehicles were usable, or battery-powered cars were usable, or I guess trucks, because you got to deliver goods to market? Stephen, would that help you support it more if it were only limited to that kind of clientele?
No, I mean, absolutely not. Now you're talking about building a hugely expensive piece of infrastructure just for the margin of people who are going to be able to afford autonomous vehicles and be able to drive them around. So I'm not in favor. That doesn't sway the equation.
It does speak to the issue of climate change, though. If
they're electric vehicles.
If there's electric vehicles allowed.
Sure, except that we still have the massive urbanization around the highway corridor that's going to come as a result of this new infrastructure, which is going to have detrimental impact to the environment as well. The corridor goes, I don't, the Greenbelt wasn't on the map, but I'm sure it goes through the Greenbelt or very close to the Greenbelt. This is our precious natural reserve for our region that we really do need to protect for sustainability purposes, for the long-term viability of our region. And building a new highway corridor within a stone's throw of that amazing natural resource is going to put tremendous development pressure there, and it really puts the sustainability of our region at risk.
Let me put this to Todd, and I'll ask you if you could live with the restrictions that it would only be autonomous battery-powered vehicles or people who drive battery-powered cars, or some trucks that have got to deliver goods to market, but not everybody. It's not going to be a free-for-all, which is going to turn it into another parking lot. Would you be able to live with those restrictions on it?
Stephen, I don't know why we want to restrict Ontarians. I think that the market will demand how many autonomous vehicles and how many electric trucks go on that highway. And it's part of a solution with two-way all-day GO transit, with LRT, to Jane's point. And let's not forget the third part of the solution, which is intermodal rail, so that more goods can be transferred to customer from manufacturer on freight rail. The Milton Logistics Hub is in this district as well, and is another big part of the solution for growing our economy and the livability and quality of life in the GTA.
Stephen.
Yeah, I'm struggling with the notion that we can do it all and that it's all needed. And I think that actually when people make travel decisions, they are looking at the relative costs for themselves over whether or not they should take transit, bike, or drive their car. And by simultaneously making car travel more convenient and cheaper through the expansive, through expanding our infrastructure, we are putting that decision. We're making. You're saying that we can make both goods cheaper at the same time, both car travel and transit, and that won't actually shift any drivers
in
into
Ontario.
transit.
We're already spending twice as much on transit as we are on highways, and that might be a reasonable ratio. But let's talk about the real lives of Ontarians. The opportunity cost of not having this highway means that job offers are being declined because talented people think that their commute is going to be too lengthy.
Do we know that for a fact? I mean,
we know that for
Anna,
a fact. I spoke to the president of Canada yesterday.
But that's a rational decision to live closer to your work.
Exactly.
You don't have the God-given right to live,
But
the
50 market reality is that you can make more money if you travel more than 30 kilometers from your home. And the reality is that people we're not just talking about municipal boundaries anymore. We're talking about an innovation corridor all the way from Waterloo to Toronto. And that's just the reality of what talented people want in their lifestyles and the competitive necessity to help us compete with other jurisdictions like Silicon Valley and Europe.
That's just some of what we covered this week on the agenda. For more, including the full conversations, you can visit our website, that's tvo.org, our YouTube channel at youtube.com/theagenda, or our Twitter feed, that's twitter.com/theagenda.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario. CPA Ontario is a regulator, an educator, a thought leader, and an advocate. We protect the public. We advance our profession. We guide our CPAs. We are CPA Ontario. And by viewers like you. Thank you.